science is there for generating the new knowledge about our world, but art is there for generating meaning of our world.
Our relationship with technology is at a crisis point. From our friendships to our decision-making, what we did for millennia without computers, we now increasingly do these things digitally.
When we say that technology is dehumanizing people, we are creating our own destiny. In truth, we can humanize technology. That's really what I have learned in these many years. It's up to us.
Our path into the future is unknown, but what is known is that technology's role will only be greater. These shows address the role we play in understanding our world and readdress the mistaken belief that we can avoid responsibility in shaping our future.
I think the only way forward is to recognize and promote all different kinds of perspectives, because there really isn't one answer to sustainability issues or to the social impacts of technology. And I think it's important that we have gatherings like this where we can talk about it and have new ideas for the future.
Out of the Box is the theme of this year's Ars Electronica Festival, and it brings to mind ideas of the ubiquitous ready-made tech products we no longer have control over, putting a digital leash on how we can make these things our own.
The Ars community is actually media arts, and what is a media arts? The species that we represent are open for a new culture of collaboration. They are collaborating with industries, standing on the edge where they know and they have the awareness that soon they are forced to make a big shift. And artists are able to, with their creative and critical thinking, look in the day after tomorrow, simulate the future and create a new ethics in using this technology.
Our relationship with digital technology is becoming an unrequited love. And Ars Electronica have many ideas for how we can rewire this kinship as we move forward. Instead of leaving this in the hands of technology companies, artists and technologists are leading the charge in re-engineering tech for the greater good.
We are utilizing in all the different fields of the Ars Electronica a specific know-how that the artists bring into this realm.
What we try to reveal are the values behind the technology, and also the huge possibilities of utilizing technology and that crossover with art.
I think that the way that we utilize our technology, it reflects on us. I create devices that are supposed to challenge the way that people relate to technology.
Sarah Petkus and Martin Hoznik continue their conversation and discuss their ideas for how we can live a better future as humans first.
We are talking about our relationships to our kids and what our kids might be. Explain us a little bit how your kid is looking like.
Noodle is sort of my example. I try to take him and show him to as many people in the tech community as possible and infect them with that anthropomorphized take on what technology could be, how you could relate to it.
Do you see media artists in general having such a close relationship, almost an empathy to their technologies, to their pieces?
Here at Ars, the backbone to everyone's work seems to be more philosophical, more conceptual, and there's a lot more of themselves in it, because, of course, we're artists, so like it's an extension of ourselves.
You're tuned to Radio Nostalgia from Mars. Breathe easy, kick back.
We created a video game, Golf Club Wasteland. The premise of the game is that there was an ecological catastrophe and the 0.1% of the ultra-rich moved to Tesla City on Mars. The rest of us are obviously dead. And in their free time, the rich travel back to Earth to play golf in the ruins. And the whole landscape of this game is peppered with neon signs that refer to current political issues that will lead up to the eventual apocalypse in the near future. I'm just trying to make fun of people who have power, the Silicon Valley ideology, which is the belief that technology can save us. However, only people can save us. So what we try to reveal are the values behind the technology.
Don't let go.
This project is the first in a series of projects that works towards making a machine that thinks itself a plant. Here we're actually reading plant lips Plants have tiny openings on the bottom of each leaf, so they open and close, also like our mouths. We have an interpreter for the deaf, reading the lips, as well as an algorithm that try to interpret what the plants are saying. In a way, this is an exploration of this intense human desire to connect, insisting on using language when, on the other hand, we are actually communicating with plants through chemicals all the time. So the mistake of recognizing lips or human lips where there are none is performed both by us, the humans, as well as algorithms, which we also made.
As technology is something coming from us, humankind, and we are an immanent part of this entire system, as a creation of us, is technology, would you call it nature?
I mean, I would definitely say that it is the next step of evolution in a sense. I think that it is our offspring. It's something that we're both evolving into, but we're also giving birth to.
So long, short, what do you think? What should be the role of technology around us?
I think right now, as it was meant to, technology is a tool for us. It's something we use to better our lives, but we should take a step back and transition into kind of an era where we, like good parents, let it come into its own and assume its own identity and maybe reconsider what it could be.
The subheading for Triennale Milano's Broken Nature is Design Takes on Human Survival and seeks to empower its audience to reconnect with the natural world from flora to fauna.
I think that one of the goals that many of the pieces that we have decided to include in the exhibition is precisely that of provoking reflections that raise the bar of what is possible. Our hope is that when visitors enter the gallery, they don't just look into interesting objects, but they also go through an experience.
Even if our existence is ultimately finite, we can still plan a more elegant ending.
One of the big acknowledgements of the exhibition, for which we have been accused of being pessimistic, is that we believe the human race and the human species will become extinct. It will become extinct. We have no control over that happening because death is part of life, it's natural. On the other hand, we have some control, a little bit of control on when, perhaps, and definitely we have a lot of control on how.
There were some contradictions in what I was collecting. Contradictions being that when I went back to record the habitat again, it didn't exist. Or it had changed so radically that the soundscape was very different. It was like somebody took away all the instruments in an orchestra. To me, it was very surprising. And then I thought, well, maybe I should begin to quantify what it was I was seeing and got involved in science. And then I thought, well, if I publish a paper in a science journal, only 6 people read it.
True.
But if I transform that material into a piece of art, everybody can see it. It has no bias to it. It's just a piece of art out there for everybody to see and experience. And if they like it, then they have to decide if they want to protect it. And if they want to protect it, they have to decide what kind of action they want to take to make that happen.
It's one more proof that technology in the hands of a good artist, scientist such as you can really help us try to steer the ship and maybe even build a better legacy as humans, hopefully. The sculpture that closes the exhibition by Patricia Piccinini is a hug and a display of love that goes beyond species, beyond age, beyond any kind of understanding. It's really love that irradiates, and it's quite irresistible. The positive use of technology can be incredibly powerful. For millennia, we have tried as human beings to imitate nature, and digital technology has enabled us to make a giant leap and to get much, much closer to nature. There's incredible power that just needs to be mastered in the right way.
Richard Feynman famously said, "If you think you understand quantum mechanics, you don't understand quantum mechanics." Quantica is a show made of 10 artist projects exploring how quantum physics impacts our social reality, with far-reaching and unexpected results.
When the visitors leave the exhibition,
There is this sort of immersive space that is giving more questions than answers. The artists are the voices that are bringing this intuition that something happens in our world that we might not be perceiving.
Multidisciplinary artist Leah Porschiger explores new ideas that arise from getting hold of the keys to understanding the principles of quantum physics.
Leah Porschiger is showing here Cosmic Strike. She came to CERN to do a really interesting experiment with meditation that allowed her to be in touch with some phenomena that is hidden in our environment. And this is what we are seeing in this division space.
Cosmic Strike. It's a 3D animation working with this particle, the neutrino. So in the animation, you kind of go through the horn as if you were a particle. I have worked on this relationship between quantum mechanics and spirituality for a while, thinking about dreams and visions and meditations and going deeper into this kind of tantric method that I did for this work.
Society can agree that technology will change the future, but how is a completely different matter. The speed and intensity of tech's impact on our lives has meant that we aren't just asking questions about how we live now. More than ever, we're questioning what life will be like 10, 20, even 50 years from now.
Something that strikes me always is how contemporary artists, they are much more acquainted to technology. And I think that an exhibition such as Quantica wouldn't be possible 20 or 30 years ago. How do you think about a Quantic exhibition in 50 years time, in terms of what we see now and what we will see in the future?
What is urgent in fundamental science is what can be known with the technology that we have today to go even further. In 50 years, I hope we have artists that are better equipped critically as well as in their methodologies to create a better experience of technology for all of us.
So where is the future really headed? Where society faces the big questions, so too do the galleries and institutions.
Technology is created by our own and created a life around us that is becoming more and more complex. Art is able to translate this, to give us access and to open doors for the entire society to decide on their own what we want from technology.